Hello and welcome. My name's Leanne. I live in Australia and this is my crafty cupboard. Welcome back to the spring episodes. In this episode I talk about writing the poem and finishing off the lettering. So each each letter has taken me around 5 minutes to do. So this has been sitting out for a couple of weeks, just anchored to my table, waiting for me patiently to finish it. There's only sort of so long I can stand stitching it for, and then it gets a bit tedious and I want to go away and do something a bit more fun. I've never stitched lettering this small before, so it is challenging, and I've always stitched my letters in backstitch, and this is a little bit more challenging. My thread's all caught on itself. I think it might have had enough. Let's have a look. Can we pull you apart? Every now and again, I keep doing a little cheat stitch if I feel that my curve's not going to anchor properly. The danger of that is, as just happened, it can make it quite angular. Just going over that again to try and ease some of the angle a bit. So I'm really keen for this part to be done so I can move on to the next bit. I really enjoyed the challenge of the poetry. I initially wanted to find a poem, but I found that all the poems that I liked about spring are very long. And then when I looked at, just taking a short part of it, it didn't say enough. And Corinne had mentioned haiku, so I thought, yeah, that'll be a lot of fun to try and write the haiku. So I sat down with my little book and got writing about what the start of spring is like for me. This is just my little book where I don't believe it. This is my book where I've just been writing, wrote the haiku. Just a little thing there, you can tuck that in there. And look, would you look? This is the fabric that lines my little book. Look what I have bought for spring. So I didn't like anything in my stash for spring, and I wanted something that was sort of bright pinks and greens, and you bring in the yellow. And I've got the same fabric. Well, there you go. When you like things, you like them, don't you? That's interesting, isn't it? I wonder if it's possible to do like the 4 seasons in the one fabric range. So yes, there was lots of versions, just trying to get the words right. It's really quite challenging in a haiku too. Sorry, I'm reading. Forgot I'm meant to be talking to you. So yeah, it's good to have a book just to dump your brain thoughts, you know, things that, so, you know, here I'm sort of already thinking about the lid of that Victorian sewing box that I'm making for Roxy's Journal of Stitchery, and just sort of, you know, with the prompts that we've had so far, and they mention love. And of course I'm really loving, you know, that sort of soft, airy, fairy little bits that add to stitchery. And I have some lovely, you know, sort of scraps of silk and organza, really tiny scraps that I got from a recycle centre. And I just want to, you know, sort of start thinking about what am I going to do there. And of course now I have from Christine the beautiful beaded lace, and I just love to sort of work all these things together somehow on that lid of the box. But I'm being patient. I'm just letting the ideas sort of form and come as they go. Yeah, so there you go. So how about you? What does spring bring to mind for you? I love spring days. I love it when you get that warm, warm sun and the cool, fresh breeze. Just glorious. And the light in spring is gentle. Australian summer sun is horrendous. It's just so bright. If I had money, I would simply never do an Australian summer, ever. I would just go to different places to avoid it. Close to the end of the thread, really picking up speed and pace here a bit now. I love how when spring comes, you know, all that winter fatigue is gone, that you suddenly have energy, again, a spring in your step as well as the air, to sort of do things that you've been not feeling like doing for a long time. And you start packing so much more in your day, and, you know, that spring cleaning that you're motivated to do is just so wonderful. I spring cleaned our walk-in wardrobe when we moved into this home. I was so amazed to see so many, you know, shelves in a walk-in wardrobe. We'd come from a tiny little shared wardrobe where I think I had 60 centimetres of hanging space or something, to a little walk-in wardrobe. And so the top shelf we didn't need for anything at all. And I thought, well, fabulous, that will become my bookcase where I keep all my books. And I divide it into two halves, the books to be read and then the books that I can't part with, you know, those books that you just want to keep. They've become part of you. And this spring I got rid of them. I've got them all bagged up ready to donate. Not all of them. There are the books I can't part with, and so I have to find a home for those. But it really is just such a lovely, spacious feeling now, having empty shelves up the top. You know, the whole top sort of shelf is now empty, and it feels like you can breathe. really quite enjoy that. Oops, that was a bit of a mess. Okay, somehow I've ended up, as I'm chatting, doing a back stitch. Let's fix that up. I'm really impressed by people that can talk constantly as they sew. My brain likes to sit and be quiet as my hands are moving. Oh, did I unthread it? Oh, just. Okay. So take that as your warning, Leanne, and tie this one off. So when my hoop's anchored down like this is a technique I learnt when I went and did Japanese beading with Marilyn Whittle. You just take a couple of little back stitches with your thread to end off. And of course in a spot where it's going to be covered. Oh dear, what did I do with my scissors? They're not there. Oh, there's a seam ripper. That'll do. So I'm just using single thread. And this requires a very tiny needle threader. Okay. Oops. We're nearly there, we're getting there. The N and the G to go. I'm sorry if you could hear that, that was just my tummy having a rumble. So I'm accidentally doing backstitch again. Got to watch myself. Then I have to start thinking about, well, how am I going to... Oh, I've just realised, how on earth did I do that? Looks like I've got some unstitching to do. It says sping instead of spring. Okay, let's get to seam ripping that up. Goodness. I'm glad I noticed now. Can you imagine? I didn't notice and I just stitched it on my piece when it was all finished. It'd be my sping, my sping wall hanging. Oh dear. That's too funny. Alright. I've accidentally grabbed the French knot as well, so that has to go too. This tiny stitches can be challenging to unpick. Alright, that's good. Okay. Let's try this. At the time I was stitching, I was thinking, gee, the eye dot is a bit far away from the eye. I must have been tired of writing this when I wrote it. All right, let's turn this into a bit of an R. I still don't think this has been totally successful. I think maybe it would have been more successful if the writing were a little larger. But, you know, I'm happy enough with it. Goodness, my tummy's making some noise tonight. Now the dot is above the eye. One, two. A little knot. There we go. I'll just let this hang down and untwist a bit. Okay. Yes, so this experience certainly tells me, you know, I want to work a lot more on stitching writing. Oh dear, we've knotted again. Whoops. Okay. Got it. So this project, luckily, that Corinne thought of is a 4-part one with all the seasons. So that'll give me a lot of chance to practice writing. I'm going to come back and do the bottom of the G, and I can see I need a little tacking stitch as well. See here, this has fallen down. There we are. Now I'm going to do a little back stitch down here and anchor that out a bit. Okay. Just have a water brush pen to remove the pen. Syrup-scented breeze, jonquils coy in dappled sun, fresh first breath of spring.
Thanks for watching. See you next time.